Hello everyone, Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to Ohayou Anime. It's the anime podcast that doesn't take place in the morning, but it is morning in Japan. So that's how we're getting away with it. My name is John, and tonight's going to be an interesting episode. If you're following the channel per normal, we just did a regular podcast on the Rock show on Friday, and that was covering the first two episodes of Shogun on FX. So Japanese culture anyways is adjacent there, but otherwise tonight we're really going to be talking about Dragon Ball mostly because sadly, as you probably know, the other week Akira Toriyama passed away, and he's a pretty legendary creator, created Dragon Ball, and he's a character designer on things like Dragon Quest. So we'll have a few guests in here tonight, and we'll see how they when they come in. They'll come in when they come in. So otherwise, for now, I'll do a couple shout outs as well, kind of take care of this stuff up top. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're live right now on Twitch and on YouTube. So thumbs up, any of those places, follow, all that stuff would be appreciated. And then when this is done, you'll be able to find it on podcast services as well, and our Ohayou Anime YouTube channel. So make sure all those things, reviews, stuff like that, it's appreciated. So otherwise, I'm going to go over a little bit of what I've been watching and or reading. Here we have our first guest. So before we get to that, we'll pop him in here. Mike, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good. Yeah, it's. I feel like it's been a little while since I've talked to you and since you've been on the show here.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I
didn't realize how much stuff I had, junk I had in the background.
Oh.
Life's been good. Been very, very busy. A lot of time out in the garage. Poor Rachel hardly ever sees me anymore. Trying to get ready for the season. So lots of swearing, tinkering, cuts on hands, all sorts of crap that, someone like me who's not a real mechanic but pretends to be gets throughout trial and error, Yeah,
the cuts get filled in nice with grease, so
exactly.
That takes care of it.
Yeah. Keeps all the germs out.
Yeah, we should. So when are you expecting to here, let's see if we can get Tony in here quick.
Yeah.
Tony, how's it going?
Hey, sorry, I don't know why, but it's like the audio from your guys's is like really crackly to me. So I'm like trying to figure out why Firefox hates me.
I think it's on your end because you're real crackly to us. Oh, and I hear you. I hear me.
I figured.
Are you playing audio through your computer as well?
Mm-hmm.
I'm muting you, Tony.
I'm muting
in a second here. Where's your AirPods? I'm not sure if you can hear us. Okay, I muted you, Tony, to figure that out.
I like the robotic sound of your voice on the other side, though.
If we could understand what he was saying for sure, and you could understand what we're saying, I guess you could deal with a robotic voice. But so I was saying, when are you expecting to be out on the track? What's the deadline here?
The first official day, first official event is May 18th. Odds of that happening are pretty slim right now. I have a glimmer of hope still to make that happen, but long story short is we're supposed to be we're working with another company to get an engine swap kit all set up, and we're going to be one of the early adopters of their kit here. And so there's a lot of trial and error that's going into the mass production and machining process to get some of like the adapter plates and things of that nature worked out. It's taken a little bit longer than I had anticipated, as is the things with early adoption, I suppose.
Sure.
So the rest of the car is getting prepped. Working a lot on weight reduction, making the light Miata lighter. And we might have to do that first event on the same engine that we ran last year, which was super down on power, but at least we'd be a little bit lighter this way. So that could be the case.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a lot of work. I want to show people here. Let's get in JP in here. JP, how's it going?
Yeah.
Apes strong together.
Is it
all right?
Is it a movie
I
now?
saw a commercial preview for another Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh yeah.
There's like I didn't realize there's like 6 of them out now already.
Oh yeah.
Well, not.
I like the last one.
There's like 4 of them.
Isn't there
Okay,
a trilogy? There's a trilogy, and then now a 4th one coming out.
Yeah, that's too many.
Nah, it was good. It was a good start. Yeah, that's
Well,
me.
JP,
That's my stuff.
Yeah, here's track_mouse on Instagram, so we can go ahead and check him out. I've been usually showing the YouTube, not the Instagram. So
Yeah, I got a lot more activity on the Instagram, although it's been sparse lately. I think the last one we did was talking about some of the new toys, new wheels and stuff, and you can see some of the work that's happening there and stripping out the interior and ditching all the extra wires. So that's what my garage has looked like for the past couple of months, and Rachel hasn't been able to park in the garage. Bogarted that. That project finally came to a close yesterday. So
okay,
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I never thought about any sort of kit to swap engines faster. So I suppose they'll make different adapters per every car that wants to use this kit. And
Yep, we need a different subframe because the oil pan, the engine itself is taller. So we need to do a different subframe. Then they run an adapter plate so you can continue using the Miata transmission that we're running. And then we're going to be going to a whole new ECU as well. So they've actually built an engine harness that mates up with this aftermarket ECU. So for us, for me, it's pretty much plug and play.
Sure.
See,
Yeah.
It sounds like you know what you're talking about. Can I tell one funny story my dad told me?
Yeah.
About
Yes, first I want to say hello to Iceman. He's in chat.
What up, Iceman?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for your
I haven't
service.
heard from you in a long time. And then MJ. MJ is here too.
MJ.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, was
Okay,
Tony in
storage.
here? And I just
He's having audio issues, so
whatever.
he's welcome to jump back in. But
okay. Funny engine story. So my dad, so he's telling me when I was little, like just me, when I was just around, poor, and he'd just like come home with random cars, that it's like, hey, honey, I got a great deal on a car. Oh, sweet. What'd you get? Oh, it's a stick shift station wagon. Something ridiculous. He's like, I don't know how to drive a stick. And he's like, it's easy. I'll teach you. That kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Something's wrong with the engine or something. And he's like, okay, I got to just one last thing to do. I just got to unscrew some bolts, lift it out, then I can swap out this one piece that I need.
Mm-hmm.
There's a piece of the engine that he didn't know that the bolts were long. That the reason why you need an engine lift is so you can lift it out of place. So you can be super long bolts.
Sure.
And while it's in place, it just bounces against the frame of the car. So he's like, spent 8 hours doing this. He's got to go to work the next day. It's like 3 a.m. He calls my uncle. He's like, you dumbass. Grabs his tool bag and, realizes immediately what he needs, goes. And my uncle knew everybody way back in the day. So he's, come on, we'll take it tomorrow, Sunday, to the shop, put on a lift, swapped out the thing or whatever, and got it changed out. But it was just one of those, like the ADHD guy. That's my dad. Just, got to fix this, fix the tire, fix this. Oh, the engine needs to be, let's take these out. It does come out. I don't know how to put this back together. one of those hilarious type of things. It made me
Well,
immediately like, oh, just swap out the engine. Yeah, that's what my dad thought without knowing anything about engines. So
in his defense, right, he had it even harder because he's doing that before the age of YouTube. These days,
he's reading
right?
it out. He told me he opened the book and just started reading and like didn't read it all, just like the next page is like, make sure you have an engine lift, otherwise impossible.
The books don't
That
tell
should
you
be
shit,
step one. Why is that not step one?
Why is that? Yeah, I'm halfway through this bitch and I can't put it back together now because I took everything off. Oh man,
that's awesome.
Tony, we have audio from you.
I do. I don't know what's up with this iMac, but I just decided to swap in my headset, and it works a lot better.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, you sound great now. Got that ASMR voice going on.
No,
all things considered.
That's torturous. It wasn't good.
I'm gonna take a buzzing bee right in your ear. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Oh, it's good. Right at you.
I'm gonna flatten all that stuff out when this is done.
Just get the audio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop my peas.
This is going well. This is good.
I'm sorry.
Well, okay, so we got update from Mike. He's shooting for a May date, but we shall see, depending on engine install.
Yes.
And let's see. So other than being in the garage, have you managed to watch any anime shows? Have you been kind of taking in the break?
No. I have watched a handful, like two television shows that were new to me, and neither of them were anime. So
okay, that's fine. Got a break in here, You'll find something that will pique your interest when you've got downtime sometime.
I trust there will be something more for me. I still need to watch Princess Mononoke. Yep, I still have to watch that one. And anime adjacent Invincible season 2 part 2 just landed. At least the first episode did. So I'll be taking that in.
Okay. All right, JP, how about you? Any? I know you often have a long list of things you're watching. Has it been the case now?
It just keeps getting longer. I watched season 2 of Mashle.
Okay.
Or 3, whatever the newest season is. And
I think season 2.
absolutely. Yeah. It's a great brain melt. No thinking, just great beating up and stuff. My brother was over this weekend and he'd never seen it before. And we were so tired. It was like 11 o'clock and I just threw it up on YouTube. It was the Japanese and then German subtitles, and then I was just explaining to him what was happening in the episodes because we don't speak Japanese and we don't read German, so it was just a funny
context clue.
But it was whatever the episode in the first season, the recap episode that just went through the whole season, so it was super funny. So I did that this weekend. Okay. And the only other update for me is I do have a YouTube plug either for now or for later, but
okay.
My other brother,
from another mother,
Scoopy, started food challenges. He's done 3 of them so far in Minnesota.
I gotta see this.
He did the Moab at B-52s.
What's the
ScoopEats?
Name?
ScoopEats.
ScoopEats.
Yep.
2
so
words
he did
or 1 word?
1 word. But he did went to the Nook and did like 2 double burgers and a double thing of fries, and then had a milkshake at the end.
Nice.
Then he went to B-52s.
Straight to the toilet bowl.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so he did the Moab challenge at B-52s. It's like a 15-inch long French sub or French loaf with 4 burgers in it, like tall. Yeah, so he smashes this like instantly. This was nothing. The Moab one was absolutely insane. But he does like a little voice overlay and he crushes it.
why are all these people that eat this much so like thin? I swear to God, if I ate that much, I'd need 2 of these chairs. What? And
Yeah,
I
dude.
I exercise all the time.
This guy had metabolism is off the charts.
But it's like the professional eaters, they
Mhm.
stretch out their stomach with water, so you can just,
Dude, there's
fill
a couple-
yourself.
Yeah, there's a couple training videos where he's like, "All right, we're gonna see how 6 pounds of cabbage feels in my stomach," and then it's like, "Okay, well," and he's stretching out with like watermelon and stuff that just expands and then goes away.
Okay.
I really hope
He's
he's
like-
talking to a doctor.
No, dude, this was like,
No.
I watch Beard Meets Food.
He's JP's brother. There's no consultation going on here.
Dude, and how fast he ate this burger, insane.
Yeah.
What he
Well-
doesn't say, I don't know if he says this in the video, but he he eats all of this and he's like, I had to breathe through my nose because my mouth was starting to like salivate. I could feel myself wanting to throw up. He
Whoa.
drives an hour to my mom's house, gave me and my brothers a hug. He's like, I'll be right back, and just right into it, filled it to the bowl, and he's like, I feel so much better. I think he ate tacos like an
Why?
hour after that.
No way.
That's like a $50 challenge too. Don't get it for free. You just get a T-shirt.
So
Well, see, there you go, Mike. There's the trick. Eat it and throw it
Yeah,
out.
get rid of it.
I think there's a condition. I think there's something that's called something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually a condition.
So
There was no.
he has to pay $50 to do this?
The Moab one was. A lot of them are just pay. They don't give you food for free anymore.
Oh, okay. Too
but
many people are
I
good
don't
at
know.
it.
So far, he's beat every challenge that he's done.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and then at the very end of his videos, he smiles like his Funko Pop. Just
Okay.
I love that he has a Funko Pop made of him. That's very cool.
yeah, he's very, very brand new into this, but we're trying to get it to rise fast.
If I was doing his channel and making a logo, I would have to incorporate an ice cream cone into that.
'Cause of the
ScoopEats.
scoop.
Got to have ice cream cone or ice cream scoop or something like that. So that would be my recommendation.
I'll pass that on. He's taking any feedback. Like the videos are pretty rough shape for editing, so I was just like, dude, you got to add something at the end. Like you should smile at the end of all your videos, and then the next one is just him like smiling as it slowly fades into Funko Pop. Dog, I almost lost it.
I love it. I like that he's taking the feedback and trying something new, though. I went through a little experiment with YouTube on just the effect of creating the proper thumbnail and how that gets you more recommendations, how it drives traffic to the video. Just naturally, it's the algorithm pushing it out to people and get the follows. So I changed nothing about any of my videos. I put no like editing into it whatsoever. All I did was I found a video online that talked about the current algorithm's pixel size preferences and what it's looking for, what kind of imagery it's looking for. And I went from having 232 views on the largest video that I had, which took like 5 months to get, to having 2,200 views in less than 6 days on the one video. And no change to content. It's just the thumbnail.
Share your secrets. I've heard a few different tips, like creating a lot of white space is good, that it really stands out. I mean, a lot of people have fun with it now. Like someone I know they're playing Helldivers for the first time, and they just put Sydney Sweeney on the front. Just she's not relevant at all. Just that's
wow. Something about her is always relevant.
Yeah.
Or just copy whatever Mr. Beast does for his thumbnails. Like,
well, that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was something like 1920 by, I don't remember the exact numbers. I'll pull it up, or I'll grab the file that I created. And it was that. Then it was just me in front of essentially a green screen, just an upper body. And I was wearing a helmet even, right? I was wearing the racing helmet. So, but it's some like human type, right? Headshot essentially. Clear green background is what I did, just a colored background. And then basic text, like 2 big bold pieces of basic text.
Okay.
Like it's not a pretty looking thing. It's just
Right.
simple.
You're trying to trick the machine to
Oh
push it
yeah,
towards
yeah.
people.
So I have the image you're talking about. I'm going to share that. So MJ says she can't get some great grammar here. I can't get views no matter how. Okay, yeah, no matter how lights and thumbnails look. Yeah, but you do so much on Twitch. You know, like I wonder about because what you're doing. People are looking for live content. I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
You know. That's why even and YouTube I think relies on that consistency. So let's see. So I want to show
You
this,
had
here, this down in here, this green. Yeah.
Yep. So it's that basic thumbnail, and then it literally told me to put the exclamation marks in the title. So I did.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can see, you can see the number of views on this.
Yeah.
Like compared to everything else. And it's
Yeah.
literally the same content. In fact, it's a clip of the video that's right above it with the Grid Life Laguna Seca one. So
Right. It
It's actually
yeah,
funny because I
but
did see that on your channel and laughed at the thumbnail.
How long did it take you to make that, Mike?
15 minutes. Yeah.
That's good. It's great.
Dude, rebrand everything.
I know. Yeah. I see this thing. I make thumbnails I think are cool looking. I enjoy them, but they're probably not the right thing to draw in people, I guess, or the algorithm to promote.
Right.
So
That's all it is. Like I do like your thumbnails. They're creative. They look cool. Unfortunately, the computer don't care.
yeah. I want to bring this back on here.
The
Quick,
robot overlords
'cause
don't care.
I didn't want to like just go right past it. We're talking about eating and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Iceman. So I know Iceman just from my brother-in-law used to stream a couple different games. He would do what's that card game that's from
Hearthstone?
Blizzard. Yeah,
Magic?
Hearthstone.
Oh,
And he, a few different games. And he met Iceman through streaming and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So Iceman used to stream different things
Okay,
too.
so is the UK strongman? That's God, is that their you're lifting the giant like boulders up onto the stands like one after the next and like going down the line to like the biggest one? Is that kind of like that in that realm of competition? I'm guessing it's some weight competition.
That's
he says
dope.
yes.
All right.
Nice.
Yep.
So when is this happening, Iceman? And I mean, good luck. Obviously, it's
Car deadlifting?
Yeah, that's
Dude, come deadlift my car. I have got to see this. I lightened it up for you. It's $25.50. That's all it is. 19th of May.
19th of May. All right. All
Nice.
right.
That's how you know
That's
he's
awesome.
from the UK.
Yeah.
19th of
What's the
May.
19th first? Dead
Someone
giveaway.
said, it does kind of make sense to go from the larger number to the smaller number.
I don't care.
2024. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just
We kick
Well,
people like
that's
that out
awesome.
for a reason. For this kind of talk.
wow, that's minor infraction there. It bulked up since first streaming. So okay, yeah. So I don't remember ever seeing you. So I don't know what you look like. I remember.
Ooh.
Iceman, are you natural? Do you have to be natural, or can you be enhanced?
Just send a link of a picture of you.
Brah.
We'll click on it without even vetting it.
We will. Huh?
Dangerous. Nice.
All natural, he says. Nice.
That's what the
Very
Liver
cool.
King said too.
Well, okay, but we saw the Liver King, and
Yeah. Our eyes didn't lie.
My favorite is when he sat down and his abs didn't move.
all right, so we got Mike, what he's been doing and watching, JP, what you've been watching, and Tony, how about you? Anything new in the anime space that you've been consuming?
So I've been going back and forth with Evangelion because I remember I told I think we were talking about that last time, and everyone's like, "Yeah, buckle up because that's going to be a trip." So I'm watching that. I'm about 9 episodes into that one. That is definitely a trippy show. I started watching the Delicious in Dungeon. I've been keeping up with that one. So I've
Okay.
been really enjoying that one because that's a very casual, fun anime to watch. And then
I'm still interested if it's going to stick that way. I'm behind, but I'm still really
Delicious in
curious
Dungeon?
whether it's going to
Delicious
stay
in
that way.
Dungeon. It's sticking. It's moving quicker than I thought it would, which makes me believe that there's definitely more to it. I hope God they don't wrap it up with one more episode, or I'm going to be pissed.
Is she out of the dragon yet? Spoilers. Spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
whoa,
Spoilers.
yeah, we're not talking. Okay.
Spoilers.
Yep. Nope. We're not talking. Nope.
Damn it. Thought I'd get you.
I'm not going
Alright.
to say anything. And then I actually started watching a show. My parents came down, and my dad always introduces me to weird shows that he watches. And I'm watching this old sci-fi show called Resident Alien.
Dude,
It's not
my
old
parents are watching
sci-fi
that
show.
too.
What do you mean?
It's
pretty
it's
funny.
relatively new.
It's
Yeah.
newish. It's like but like what, 3 years old, 4 years old, 3 years
Yeah,
old.
it's got 3
I think
seasons or whatever.
started. Yeah. It was so weird way to frame it. It sounds like you're a Gen Zer.
Here's
This
what's
old
funny.
show when I was 6, which was 2 years ago.
That would be Stargate SG-1 is what you would call it.
Sorry,
That's what I thought the age timeline. Like, oh yeah, Stargate on Sci-Fi and Resident Alien.
Well, and I feel bad because when my dad's like, yeah, it's the sci-fi show Resident Alien, immediately I was like, oh, the Sci-Fi Channel? It's got to be at least 10 years old. Like, I didn't think the Sci-Fi Channel
That's
made
valid.
anything anymore.
Who's the lead actor in that, Tony? It's
It's Steve the Pirate.
Tiddick?
Alan,
Yeah,
it's
Alan
Steve the
Tudyk.
Pirate. Alan Tudyk, yeah.
He's never
Or
going to
for those
escape
of
that
you-
role.
Mm-mm.
Oh my god, he doesn't need to though. I mean, my God,
He's good.
he is. He's also in Firefly. He's in basically
Tucker
every
and Dale.
animated movie that's made the last 15 years. He does some voice work on everything.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's in Zootopia. I just watched it and I was like, hey, that's that guy.
Dude, he is an actor and you don't know
He's
it's
great.
him. That's the crazy part. Yeah, so I've been watching that, and then God, what else have I been kind of cranking out too? Well, we're entering into like the end of one sports session. So you have we're doing your regular sports. You got like Premier League soccer, MLS just started up, Formula One just started up. I was gonna ask Mike about it, but I was like, yeah, he's not watching it. Mike's not watching Formula One.
I'll tell you exactly what happened, and I didn't even watch. I can tell you.
Is it Max Verstappen? Did he win again? Oh, he did. Surprise.
It is amazing. We'll talk about that another time. Like I don't hate him for that. It is amazing.
Oh, I know. It's mind blowing. But yeah, no. So then outside of that, no, I've been trying to balance my time between work, Bailey. I've been playing some Elden Ring, getting ready for the DLC. I'm hoping maybe I can actually beat this game. But then you can't go back to your old character because I was like, the hell was I doing? I don't remember anything I was doing in this old character. Might as well restart.
I love games. Some games do better of kind of re-onboarding you. Like I've been watching Shogun and made me want to go back to Ghost of Tsushima, and that game always did a really good job of reminding you what you probably forgot. So it knows you maybe haven't played in a while, so then it starts popping up little tutorial things that you've already done and gone through.
Oh,
And they
nice.
found them really useful for combat and stuff like that. Oh, you can switch stances this way or whatever. And
Yeah.
That's pretty great. So more games should implement that kind of thing.
But yeah, so it's been pretty laid back.
Okay, well that's not Evangelion's a big thing to tackle. So good luck and continued success with that. Where are you watching that? And is it 4:3 or widescreen or what? I don't know. There's a number of different versions.
4:3 Netflix.
Okay, all right.
Okay. And it's in English. I watch it in English for anybody who's behind the scenes wondering about that.
Okay.
That was my first question. I was like, whoa, how's he watching it?
Is it English? Is it English? You watch it in English?
I mean, it matters. That stuff that's older for sure. I'm more hesitant to go English.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Netflix
But it's
redubbed it
big
all,
enough that
or-
it-
No idea.
The dub is pretty good. I mean, it was a big enough anime that I think that they did a pretty good job dubbing it.
Sure.
You know.
Well, I want to show this here. Was wondering if anyone had seen any of the shows on this list. Saw it on X and thought it was funny because the comment is point of view of someone if you're an anime elitist. And
John checked all the boxes.
Yeah, it's like so.
Well,
Just John.
I mean, you're talking Evangelion, so Evangelion is on here. I've seen most of this, but only two things I haven't heard of even. So I haven't seen or heard of Tatami Galaxy or Belladonna of Sadness. Everything
Are those
else
next
I've at
on your
least
list
heard of
then?
or seen. Well, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it's like that would be kind of an interesting thing to seek out. They look older, so kind of more interested there. You notice that everything on this list is basically not later than the 90s. And yeah, it's some good stuff.
I am watching Ping Pong tonight.
Do it. I
going
think
to.
you'll be surprised by it.
Or as they say in China, ping pong.
Ping pong.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing ping pong and ding dang.
Has anyone seen any of these at all?
No.
I've seen Akira and Evangelion.
Okay.
I've seen
Akira.
none of
And that
these.
is Akira is one of those ones that you kind of have to watch.
I
Akira?
don't have to do anything.
I don't even know which
I
one that is on here.
I recommend
It's the one that
Akira.
says
It's
Akira.
it's this one right here.
Is that
Red
like the Tron
motorcycle.
bike? Is that a central part of it, or is that just a cool shot?
No,
No, it's
they're
the
like
bike's
part
part
of
of
kind of a biker gang sort of thing. They deal
cool.
with biker gangs and they're kids of the street in a future Tokyo that's getting kind of lawless and some civil unrest and some of that. So the youths of the day have, they kind of fend for themselves and stuff like that a lot. And
Street youths.
yeah, it's impressively done. I actually backed a Kickstarter campaign that's doing like a full documentary on kind of the making of it.
Oh, cool.
There are definitely things from it that are pulled and incorporated into other animation and parts of pop culture. Like they really do the sort of light cycle bike street, the light streaking through the city.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
big thing that Akira is known for, and everything being hand drawn. So it's just one of those shows. Every time I watch it, I feel a little more depth. I get a little more out of it. When I watched it as a kid, I didn't get it as much. It was a little slow, a little like opaque in my understanding of it.
Sure.
But I keep liking it more and more. So
It sounds intriguing.
I'm not convinced that the one next to that is not just the Evanescence album.
Oh my God, yes. It is. That's Amy Lee.
That is Amy Lee from the Evanescence
Dude,
album.
depending on the year, John said these were 90s. Maybe that is what the Evanescence album was based off of, because it is strikingly
That's a
similar.
good point. It is
And
creepily similar.
Evanescence was like what, circa 2006 or so? 2004? Oh,
And
nice.
there's his first edition Evanescence album.
yeah, right. Trying to see a year. I actually haven't seen this whole thing. This is back in the day when, if you want to get anime, you would often, or I would anyways, go to eBay and you'd buy them internationally. They wouldn't come necessarily from Japan. They would get copies in like Singapore or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah,
That's really cool.
So
price.
That's really cool.
is that after region locked DVDs were a thing?
Yeah, you had to factor in the region of what you're buying, because now obviously with Blu-ray it's usually not an issue, but back then, yeah, you had to make sure.
It blew my mind when I found out about that you couldn't play certain games on your console if you bought them from a region that wasn't the US and you had a US based console for like
right
anything, or same with DVDs.
I never ran into that.
So yeah, this has English and Chinese, so it would have
Okay.
probably came from China, but I actually haven't finished it, but it's I should go back to it again now, being older. Yeah. But I do agree the Evanescence reference. It's good.
We got to do a side by side. All right.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Okay.
It's 2004.
What's
2004.
her name?
Fallen. Amy Lee. And it did. It released in 2004.
The Evanescence album.
Well, it's the Fallen album covers that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not like I really like that band or anything. Okay.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, it was like their one really good album.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Everybody knew this album.
Everybody did. That's true. But goddamn, she's got the voice of an angel laid over that rock. I mean, that was such a cool combo. It's a shame.
Oh, I see. It's doing this here.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, listen.
Hold on.
There are plenty of odds.
Somebody was taking inspiration.
I feel like it. Yeah, like look at this. Look at damn. How do I don't know how to send this.
Here is this image where you can see that.
Yep.
And we'll go. Come on. Why is this not it's shooting my whole screen here? Come on,
guys. We need Alan.
We run a professional ship.
Okay. Here. So as John does this.
What the hell's going on here?
Oh, here, entire screen. Okay.
It's amateur hour.
This. There we go. So let's go.
Oh, that's blinking a little bit.
Look at that. Come on. They were pulling
like
from
even
this.
The hair, dude. Even the hair.
If you want to take it one step further, you go check their tour date schedules. Oh, we were just cruising through Japan as they drop this.
No way. Were they really?
That's just me talking out of my
damn.
my lower mouth that I'm sitting on.
You say it so confidently. You had me convinced.
I am a great perceiver of truth. I was going to say, Evanescence, like listening to their songs. When I first heard, you guys ever heard of Skillet?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They have a couple songs that just have the dude singing and then the chick comes in.
Yep.
My voice will be heard today. I was like, I love that shit.
Dude, did you, every time I see an Evanescence album, though, I think of the old Vine. He's like, "Yo, what's up? My name's Evan. Essence. Wake me up!"
Like, I wish they never got rid of Vine. That stuff.
I mean, isn't that TikTok now? Essentially.
No, TikTok is owned by China. TikTok's owned by China too.
I doubt
TikTok.
TikTok's going to be.
It's 100% it's just different energy. It's
not the same.
Yeah, it's just different comedy, different everything.
I don't know. I don't have TikTok, but Vine was just like bottled chaos. It was splendid. It's like you have no idea what's coming up next, and it's going to be random, and it's going to be instantaneous, and you're going to be like, "What the fuck did I just watch? I love that so much." And then,
dude, I met one of my accounting buddies when I first started working. He was like, "Yeah, do you want to come over to my house? We're going to watch the new drop of the Vine videos, the new compilation videos." I was like, "What?"
Oh, weird.
Like, I mean, this was like a white dude and like his 6 black buddies from the hood. You know, just big tall dudes, and they're just like watching people getting kicked in the nuts and stuff, and they're just dying. They thought it was the greatest. Oh man,
that's awesome.
I can see what he's doing. It was the greatest thing ever. We're checking the new drops, man. Okay,
Yes, I missed out.
Yeah, same. I missed that boat. I didn't even know that was a thing. Had a lot of fun.
I caught the tail end of it. Then you can go on YouTube and watch like famous Vine compilations, and there's maybe like 100 like solid everybody knows them Vines.
Mm-hmm.
2 guys sitting in a hot tub, 5 feet away because
6 weeks are not gay. Come on down. Come on down to Del Taco. They got a new thing. Free shabakadoo. It's just fresh avocado, but written really weirdly. Free shabakadoo.
Dude.
All right, we're done. We're done.
We're only an hour into the Dragon Ball podcast, guys. We got
We haven't even
another
talked about
hour
it.
at least before we bring up the topic.
Don't worry,
At
we're
least.
talking about Vine. You should just call this the Vine podcast. We could talk Vine.
I couldn't. I would be completely lost.
It's okay.
It's the greatest 7-second videos. Wasn't that the thing? It's just 7-second videos.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why it was
No,
great.
I mean, it had to have a lot of creativity, obviously.
Yes.
It's like, it's those are strict parameters there. So had to be inventive for sure. Speaking of something inventive, I did read Dan Da Dan. That's a manga. I read volume 6. The anime is coming out this fall, anime adaptation. So for those non-manga readers, I hope they do a good job with this one. It looks good based on the trailer. So lots of zany fun. I think at least JP would enjoy it. So
Don da don.
yeah.
Dun dun da dun dun dun. Shake, shake, shake.
So
That's
continuing to
it.
go. What's that?
Can you send me a link of Don da don? Is it on Crunchyroll, or is this just a manga that I should read?
No. Right now it's just a manga. The anime is coming out this fall. So stay tuned. And then continuing to watch through Apothecary Diaries. Everybody's kind of the talk around in the anime community is like, we're really fortunate that we got Apothecary Diaries and Frieren, 2 shows of such quality caliber in the same season. Often there's, this team like there's just one or something that kind of stands out. So people are really liking these 2 shows, Frieren and Apothecary Diaries. And we'll talk about Apothecary Diaries when that's finished. And JP, you got snoring in your background again?
My wife is sleeping, yes. She was reading a book. She told me she was going to stay up. She is no longer reading a book. I'll mute myself as we keep going here.
I 100% thought somebody had like a washing machine going in the background.
It's a good thing she didn't watch these. That would be fun.
Right? Yeah. And then I did watch Howl's Moving Castle last night. We'll talk about that another time. Tony, speaking of falling asleep, you said that you fell asleep watching that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's not because it's boring. It's because I'm old and I fall asleep by 10.
Well, I definitely have some things to say about that one. And so I'm pretty excited to talk about it. Phil says it's one of his maybe his favorite Ghibli film. And I would need him to tell me why.
Strange.
Is it?
Because it's good. Like, it is really good, but I would not say that is the best Ghibli film.
I'm going to say my thoughts. I was shocked. I've owned it, never watched it, and first time last night. And yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes I will say it definitely there are things that just get unnecessary hype, and then everyone's sort of just they want to be involved in that hype, and so it's a name like Ghibli and Hideo Miyazaki sort of gets a reputation, and then everything is beyond reproach, or like it just became like a media thing where John Wick was just like amazing, and so everybody just wants to love Keanu Reeves and wants to love it. I want to love it, but then there's not that good, and then there's just different things where people, even Dune, I swear a bunch of people that watched Dune Part 2 don't love it as much as they think they love it or say they love it. But because they kind of get wrapped up in you're supposed to love it, it's so amazing, then you get,
Do you know what else is like that?
Ghibli stuff. What's that?
Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's.
I think we need to start. I'll address that behavior in just one moment here, Mike.
Okay. All right. So, what do you say? So I'm going to frame this here. Dragon Ball. Want to talk about because today is Saiyan Day. So that's cool. I have in the calendar. I don't know why it's Saiyan Day. Maybe it's anniversary of something. I'm sure. But and then also. Akira Toriyama died not long ago, and unexpectedly, I guess, and not very. He wasn't very old, all that sort of thing. So, like, world governments like made statements saying, sad for his passing, and all kinds of like tribute videos went out and all that sort of thing, kind of honoring his contribution to manga, particularly, but Japanese culture and that sort of thing. So, in that framing, Mike, why don't you shit on Dragon Ball?
Whoa. No, I'm not saying that.
Okay. All right.
First of all, it's Saiyan Day. The Google machine has told me that it's Saiyan Day because March 18th, the numbers 318 can be read as Saya in Japanese. Or Saya. I don't know. I'm mispronouncing it, but that's the thing.
Okay.
No, I shall not shit on Dragon Ball. This is the thing that... specifically Dragon Ball Z, and then I later went through and watched Dragon Ball after I had, caught up with through the Buu saga in Dragon Ball Z and whatnot. But like GT, even Super to an extent.
Oh, GT's not canon. We all agreed that that was his little Coke baby.
However it might be, even the guy himself, he was planning to end it after Cell, and you can see that with the Buu saga. All I'm saying is it is glorious. It shaped me for better or for worse at some point, some degree, as a kid growing up. That doesn't mean that it's infallible. And when you look through Super, like, some of that becomes evident. I'll say Super's fights are, for the most part, incredible. The movies, the modern movies, the animation is unreal. But it's not perfect, right? And some people come at it with an approach of the fact that you can't speak bad about it. And some people will say that they love it more than they do, I think, because of the name that it carries. So I just think it's a fitting segue.
Yeah.
But, Dragon Ball Z it was a thing. It was the only thing that I can ever remember running home after school to watch the episode. It's the first memory I have of something like keeping in mind what was coming up after school. Before that, I was a good little boy who got home and played outside, right? And did all the outside things. And then this happened. I even played the Dragon Ball Z card game when it first came out with my buddies. I remember running like quarter mile, maybe even a half a mile, to my friend's house to play Dragon Ball Z cards without telling anyone. So no one knew, because this was before it was cool to be into this stuff, right? That changed in the late, 2010s or so, it feels like. But before that, this was something that, your typical jock would keep under wraps. And so I remember doing that and running over there to play, making sure I got home before my parents got home so they wouldn't question where I was, so I wouldn't have to tell them what I was doing, that kind of thing. Like, I kept it in the closet, that sort of thing. But it was also the thing that like elevated my artistry, my drawing, because it gave me a subject to do consistently, right? Before that, I was all over the map on things that I would draw. I had gotten fairly good at animals, but I remember making like a 18-inch long mural of Dragon Ball Z, all the different characters, and I'd grab screenshots from different positions and different poses and made like my own mural, and I would draw them so consistently that it taught me specific techniques. It was a big part, man. Like, these characters were fantastic to me, and the art style was amazing. Story was the story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not always rewriting, the formula, but that's kind of great. It, works out. It resonates with us then. Yeah.
There was something cool, and at the risk of sounding like a total dweeb here and just airing out all of the shit I've tried to suppress throughout my entire life onto YouTube now, which is ridiculous. It was something that I used to tap into the Saiyan, anger, unlocking the next level of power and whatnot. Like, it was the thing that made me feel like anger was okay, right? And I admittedly, as a kid, ended up taking that way too far and thinking that it did actually do something for me, like the show did. But it definitely, it was just like, and and I thought I was getting big and getting strong and being scary, and it was a good way to like funnel it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
I'm just picturing somebody walking by me like, is that kid shitting himself?
No. This was only done. You have to remember, I was a jock. I had a reputation to uphold, right? This was only in my own room and my own house. Like, Dad won't let me play Gran Turismo anymore.
Dude, a lot of that holding, like, I think it took until like my senior year before I openly talked about anything that wasn't sports. Because that was kind of like the year where everyone's like, okay, we're all friends now. Let's all pretend like everyone didn't just bully each other and treat each other like shit for the last 12 years. It's super weird how senior kind of just like people I would never have talked to, like, oh, hey, I played Magic cards after school with these people. I was doing this and just did whatever. But for Dragon Ball Z, man, that was the only show I came home to watch after school. And like math homework, I only have 30 minutes before Toonami decides to randomly restart the Boo saga, or like that would always piss me off. Like, they just restarted the saga for no damn reason, and now I have no idea what happens. So that was cable TV at its finest.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I want to just like take a little aside here with that, because you both brought it up. Then is like, are there benefits? I've certainly talked about this before. Are there benefits to some of that sort of attitude where you did want to keep some of it secret? Like, our cultures and society is different. If you feel you're comfortable sharing and loving anything, is there any benefit to maybe a culture that still you're afraid of it shaming you for something?
Yes, like 100%.
Nowadays, absolutely not. But back, dude, I'm open. I'm trying to get everybody to know that Age of Mythology is coming out with a rework, the game that I have more hours in than any other game on Earth. I wouldn't have told a soul 10 years ago.
Turn this around, JP. The thing I just said that I did in, behind closed doors in my room, and then imagine if I'm doing that at my locker in school, and like Tony said, he walks by and he's like, is that kid shitting himself? That's a detrimental ass effect, right?
So everybody does, when I'm in the pool, I'm doing Kamehamehas underwater, everything. I'm shitting myself underwater. No, but I mean, like all my interests and stuff with gaming, anime, and all this stuff, it's opened up. Like, I have people I work from home, right? I'm a remote worker. One of my mentors, I just randomly saw that he had what was it? There's something on his desktop that was like the Magic the Gathering, the card game. I was like, oh, do you play? He's like, oh yeah, I play with my kids every morning just to, like, oh, how old are your kids? Oh, they're like 8 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh yeah, they're not very aggressive. They don't kill me. But I was like, do you let them win? He's like, absolutely not. That doesn't teach them anything.
Good for him.
No,
but there's a difference.
How's there a difference now? Like nowadays,
because now
you're embarrassed of stuff today.
No. But I'm also an adult with self-control that knows that if I walk into Target and start screaming like I'm going to shit my pants, that's a weird ass behavior. Okay. As a kid, you don't know. No, John asked if there's any benefit to it. There is a benefit, because it does. Keeping it quiet like that to a degree keeps your behavior civil to some extent until you are old enough to modulate that yourself or moderate it yourself.
This is what separates us from the fedora hats, making sure that we're not, no offense to you, John, but like people
I love my fedora, and
you're not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
I know, but the people that can't like control any of their, I like to self-moderate, because there is no self-moderating when you're 12 years old. It's you're 100% or you're not in. And then you're afraid what everyone else will think.
So I do wish that people felt comfortable openly sharing what they're interested in. And I think that probably they are more these days, right? So that you have an opportunity to create that community. But it does open up that door for people to think that is, or more likely to think that there's some sensibility or that it's a behavior that is, okay to do. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. Not everybody's going to deal with it. Not every anime is going to make you scream like that. But can you imagine me like being 35 years old and Naruto running past you at the Wendy's? Like, I mean,
you
As
weren't at
somebody who's
Area
seen
51?
you do it,
let's
Tony, do you have any thoughts, Tony? You have any side on this?
No, it was interesting. I kind of was quiet because I wanted to see the direction that Mike and JP took, because they took it in a really different direction than I think I interpreted the question.
Okay.
I interpreted it as, when we were younger, I'm gonna say circa, for people watching this, like say 2000 to 2006. So that'd be like middle school, high school. What was weird was that if you liked this stuff and people found out about it, you were branded, right? Immediately you were branded, and you would never escape that brand. And so the thing was you would keep it quiet, right? Like Mike said, you usually kept that under wraps because either you had a reputation to keep or you just didn't want to deal with the hassle of people knowing that you liked this stuff. And I think in today's society, I will give some younger generation a lot of credit here that this is not really a big problem anymore. The liking of what was considered nerdy when we were younger is now mainstream or is seen as acceptable. And I think it's because individuality is more praised, and it's more as there are people who like these things, and that doesn't make you weird that you like this. It's just something you like. And I think the stigma is kind of gone nowadays. And so, part of me is I'm a lot more open. So if people say like, oh, you watch anime, I'm like, yeah, I got a few favorites I like. Part of it is, that it's more accepting nowadays to have open conversations about weird things, whether if you want to put anime in that weird category. Two, the other part of it is I've grown up and I'm now in my 30s, and I just don't care. like I have a group of friends. They all know me inside and out, so there's really no ridicule that I can get. And if you do ridicule me, chances are I don't know you well enough to care. So, I think it's I applaud that you're seeing this huge renaissance of not only anime but of science fiction and fantasy, and this draw to the, I guess you could say, nerd culture nowadays, because I think you're seeing it as more acceptable and people are kind of celebrating that, and I think that's a benefit. That you get more of it, not necessarily better, but more.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have developed that degree of self-confidence that you just expressed, even as an adult, if you did feel open to walking around and being goofy? Like, part of me thinks of the movie 21 Jump Street when they go back to high school and Channing Tatum's character is like, what the hell? All the nerds are the cool kids and all the cool kids, all the jocks are the nerds. Like, what is this? Right? Like, to an extent, that's kind of what we're talking about. But also in that movie, the critical thing was if somebody was acting weird, even as a part of the nerds, they basically get slapped upside the head and be like, knock it off. You're being weird. Like, it's not stop watching anime, because it makes you weird. It's just stop doing the weird shit. Right. So maybe people now have that opportunity now to enjoy what they want to enjoy, and they just get called out on the odd behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's what is weird. by today's definition, what is weird? I mean, as somebody who's older, I find myself watching some of the stuff on the news or on YouTube when, like, you know, I see something like in my YouTube shorts pop up from like a younger, you know, like a younger comedian, and he's talking, and I'm like, I don't know why this is funny. It's just like, I don't get it. But you know what? They're being open and they're talking about weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. I've gone back and forth between sort of like, you know, should society have standards and where should they come from? You know, and because like we talk about Japanese things, talk about anime, Japan has very strict societal standards and expectations. And so to talk about here, we, you know, emphasize the individual, or we're supposed to, but in Japan, you don't so much. And so it's not a great thing to stand out. You know, you want to be a good member of society, a productive member of society. And you know, I think there's probably a balance, but Japan manages to be plenty weird while still having these pretty strict societal expectations. You know, a lot of things aren't made into laws because they're just sort of societally enforced.
And how repressed do those people
ostracized. Feel? Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
So I don't know, it's tough because, you know, I find myself going around and thinking everyone dresses like shit everywhere. You go to a funeral or a wedding and people wearing t-shirts and shorts. You know, you go in everywhere and people are, you know, they got leggings that shouldn't be wearing them, and they're wearing Crocs, and the hairs, it's like we wear pajamas to Target. That's what we do all the time. We wear pajamas to Target. And I'm just like, again, societal standards are just non-existent. And I think it just stems from everywhere. Like there's zero idea of accountability or shame or anything like that. And so you put forth an image that I don't know you realize you're putting forward. Now, maybe eventually that image will mean something different to a new society and it won't matter, you know. But for a while anyways, at least to someone my age, it will. And it will say different things. Like I had people that would like shocked they didn't get a job. It's like, well, I always shaved before I went for a job interview. I wouldn't have a beard or a scruff or anything like that. I'm going in, I'm going to be clean cut because I'm doing the best to put my best foot forward or whatever. And I understand there's a societal expectation there or whatever to be clean cut or whatever, you know, that looks better. Other people won't. They'll come in their tennis shoes and their jeans and like, you didn't try it all. Where's your tie? Whatever. And so I just think it's kind of a whole broad cultural thing. Like there's an element, I heard a good rant by a guy that's kind of, he's getting flack for talking about gatekeeping. And he's saying, you know, I spent the years as a kid hiding the thing or being made fun of for being into this. And I still am into it. And I always have been. And I'm super passionate about it. And now all you want to come in here and watch this thing when no one else cares. It's popular, it's cool, and you want to come in and change it all around. When I went through and like loved it from its core and dealt with it with a societal ostracization. So I don't know, it's a broad topic. It's a lot of things. And I do see a value in like being able to freely express yourself. And I see a value in like understanding societal norms and expectations and being able to adhere to them. Because I think as a new parent, one of my number one jobs is to make free thinking adults that are able to fit in with society and become productive members of society. That doesn't mean they have to think everything that everybody else does or something, but they have to understand what society is and be able to be in that and not be like, oh, someone's criticizing me because I have 14 piercings on my face. That's expressing myself. It's like, well, no, you look weird. You can be yourself and want to do that, but maybe understand what you're putting out there. And if you don't raise your kids to understand that, I think you're failing to raise them.
Freedom of expression isn't freedom from
consequence.
Right.
I really think the big thing about there, John, is there are no consequences for actions, and you're free to do whatever you want. That's the greatest thing about America. I think Ron Swanson said it best. You know, if you want to eat 9,000 calories and die of a heart attack at 43, you're free to do that. I think that's beautiful. But
Yeah.
the consequence, you die. That's the thing. You know, if you do some weird stuff, you get weird
Reactions. Yeah.
weird reactions. It doesn't matter if you're free to do whatever you want. That's a great thing. But yeah,
you know, but bringing this on with you know, circling back to Dragon Ball Z, one thing I did find really funny, and I wonder if Mike found this out kind of the same way I did. There were a lot more people in Dragon Ball Z than originally let on. Like when we were in high school, there was a lot more people listening. So, you know, when I heard of the creator's passing and how big of a deal that was across the globe, like countries, governments making statements about the death of this creator, it kind of solidified that in my mind when I started chuckling, being like, there's a lot of people into Dragon Ball Z than I remember in my high school. And then now looking at it, you know, 10 years later, 15 years later, Dragon Ball Z, I think, was one of those transcendent animes where even if you weren't into anime, you knew what Dragon Ball Z was. You had heard of Dragon Ball Z. And it's almost to that level of facial tissues and Kleenex. Like every Kleenex is a facial tissue, but not every facial tissue is Kleenex type of thing. You know, it's like Dragon Ball Z has become that like name brand anime. Dragon Ball Z? like everybody knows about it. Everybody's watched at least something about it.
I 100% agree with you. And I was thinking about that. I mean, I've thought about it a lot before actually, but I was, you know, especially thinking about it because we were going to talk about it here today. I still can't put my finger on why that is, because when you break it down, like I like character stories, right? Even as a kid, I liked character stories. This is very shallow in that regard. There are moments, and it has gotten better, and there's some cool lessons about it, right? But that's not what you would. This is not your pillar of a character story. It is not your pillar of good animation. It's not your pillar of excellent combat scenes. As far as a martial arts anime even goes, so many of the movements are really basic, and so many of the fight scenes, you know, they use the excuse of the speed at which they were fighting to just show them darting back and forth, right? And they're rehashed, and it's right. It's not actually when an actual like type of move or block or reversal is used, it stands out because it happens so infrequently. And then like there's the classic like freeze frame, you know, part of the animation, and look at how derpy like some of the drawings were. So like what is the show good at? I don't know, and I don't give a shit because it's amazing.
It is really weird.
It's the heart and perseverance of Goku. Like that's what ultimately carries it through. It's like,
but he's not even
anything. He's not my favorite either.
He's not most people's favorite.
But he will always, you know, rise above. He always meets a challenge. It's just a perfect. It taps in to an inner desire of the like, you know, 11 to 16-year-old boy. It just like it's a power fantasy type of thing, and it's a I can win type of thing. And they did probably first to a lot of people's exposure, anyways, the power scaling thing so well. It's like I'm trying to achieve. I'm at this level, and I am introduced to this guy that is way above me. I must, through sheer dedication, rise to meet his level and beat him. But he's just the beginning. There's the next guy. And it's just like they did that so well for so long. It just has you invested in that power struggle, knowing the number. It was always a big deal for a while. Like, what's the power number? You know, the over the 9,000 thing, you know, for a while.
Over 9,000.
Until the numbers got insane, you know, they had to just do away. Oh, they just broke the scanner, you know. But so I think it's a simple thing, but it really speaks to like that kind of desire for like your inner masculinity that's just developing as a young boy kind of thing.
Well, and that's Dragon Ball Z. Like Dragon Ball
Right. Yes.
doesn't tap that same thing. It's so much goofier. I mean, it was a comedy. The guy wanted to be a comedian, you know? And so it's cool that it can have that kind of like Dragon Ball could have enough character to it, enough charm to bring on what became Dragon Ball Z, which is his response to people saying they wanted more action, right?
Mhm.
And he still drove that in. But they are, I mean, if you never watch Dragon Ball, it doesn't matter. You can still love Dragon Ball Z. And if you never watched Dragon Ball Z ever, you could still love Dragon Ball for what it was. I mean, basically, there's carryover between Roshi and King Piccolo and, Goku and Bulma, right? And that, I mean, but that's close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool too. I think that's neat. I like the way that he expanded it well. It just felt like he ran out of gas after Cell. I mean, and it feels that way because Cell was supposed to be, right, the amalgamation of everything they had fought up to that point, right? Like that is a very telling way to end it. And then you have the passing of the torch to Gohan, who embodies that childlike, that just rage power, right? That you overcome it, yes, John, with hard training for sure, but also just fucking rage.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. And then you have Piccolo there, who is like underpowered as fuck all the time, but just tactically thinks through the scenario so perfectly, ends up being the actual father figure to Gohan. Like there's different elements to that, and then you kind of lose that a bit in the Buu saga. It just felt like he just ran out of gas and passion, right? He capped it. What do you think, JP?
Yeah, I was just about to say my biggest criticism of Dragon Ball Z was always that the story never transitioned to Gohan. It was perfectly set up to do that after the Cell saga. And I always found the Majin Buu saga to be really out of place. And then, was he responsible for GT? Or, okay, so I hated that with a passion. After I watched that, I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But
is it? See, I really want to watch it. I haven't seen GT. Is
Oh.
it that bad, or is it like a
No,
return
it's not
to
that
Dragon
bad.
Ball?
It's not that bad.
it's just, they take away all the character, like, they just put in.
I love Trunks, so I'm kind of like I'm
Okay,
on
if you
board
love
to seeing
Trunks,
Trunks
even
grow
if you
up a
love
little bit.
Trunks, it's not like that.
Pan's really fucking annoying. Or not Pan.
Yeah, Pan.
I don't know. It's just like
The girl,
Goku turns into an idiot again, and it's like you're doing the same lessons over, and
Sure.
it felt like just a weak rehash. But
I mean, yeah, it really was, JP. You're right. I mean, that's part of the whole Bobbity Baby.
yeah,
Hmm.
but the one thing I really liked about Super is, how you guys were talking about power
The
levels.
Bobbity cycle and the
Oh no, I think my internet's
Oh.
cutting.
No, you're good.
No,
Oh, I'm good? Okay.
No. Mike just lagged.
But
Yep.
the cool thing I liked about Super was how tactical they are at least attempting to be tactical with the fights, and there was counter to the moves. The classic over-explaining type thing, but with the tournament of power and everything, they actually had to fight together and do stuff because it wasn't just one person kills everybody. Everybody was useful, which I think that was like kind of the first time in the entire any of the series where everybody could actually
Yes.
help and actually do something.
The
Which was
Tournament
sweet.
of Power was amazing.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was something
very-
I definitely missed a lot of the time was, I felt bad for different characters that got left by the wayside. So yeah, it's always good to have people have their moments. Like I always think of Tien. I always thought he was fun, and his moment with Cell. Like he's
Mhm.
not gonna hold up. He can't beat Cell, but with his one tri-beam cannon, he can hold him down. And it's just like, yes, he's gonna go till he dies, basically. And that's an awesome. See, that's an awesome moment. Like
Mhm.
I got chills thinking about that. That is someone putting their life on the line there, and it's one of those things. You're going down knowing you aren't better here, but this is the purpose you can serve.
Dude, that you just saying that was like when Vegeta has the Halo ring already, and he's like, Goku, how much time do you need to charge the full? He's like, what? He's like, I need 2 minutes. He's like, all right, you got it. And obviously he can't do anything, and then he's just like laughing as he's getting the shit kicked out of him. And like the stakes are real because, you know, if he dies for real, then he's actually dead. He can't get brought back. But
yeah,
dude, my tits are hard just thinking about that scene because he's just like, you call that a punch? And they're just, and obviously outmatched, but I was just.
I will give you the redeeming aspect of the Majin Buu saga is Majin Vegeta, and the character arc that Vegeta truly goes through in that, right? He finally hits that that sacrifice for his family. You know, it's finally not about him for real, you know. Right. And that was really cool knowing, because right, he talked with Piccolo before all that, and Piccolo's like, listen, Goku went to heaven because of all of this that he's done. It doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to heaven, dude. And Vegeta's like, fucking so be it, you know, and just now I'm the hair standing up on my arms.
Yes.
So I haven't seen Cell Majin Buu from beginning to end. So I'm one of those guys that have seen multiple episodes through like the entire run of Dragon Ball Z, but only recently have I sat down and started from episode 1, and now I'm up to it's almost to the end of the Frieza saga.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jealous.
And it was just funny because it's like now I'm at the part where Frieza's like in his like third form. He's like, this isn't even my final form, motherfucker. Would you just like die? Just get on with it.
So he's got the horns. Is it the horns? Or
yeah, he's got like the huge. His like head's like really elongated.
Long.
And he's got like the huge. Yeah.
Is the Xenomorph Frieza?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Xenomorph Frieza. He's like, it's not even my final form, and I'm like, fucking sure, okay. You got your ass kicked the last 3 times. Let's do this again. And it's just really funny. But yeah, I've never seen. So I don't know when I know of like what Cell is and Majin Buu, but I don't know how they line up. So I don't know the story from like end to end.
Oh no, I feel like I robbed you.
No,
I already know how they all end.
There's gonna be great stuff. So
yeah, it's just experiencing it, right?
Have you guys seen any of the? Like, have you seen Dragon Ball Superhero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the newest movie.
Yeah. They finally hand the reins back to Gohan and Piccolo, and it is glorious.
I don't think I've seen that movie. What's it about?
Oh.
The Red Ribbon Army is back, right? And they've created they've created androids, and it brings it back.
No. Is it Salt and Pepper is back now too?
No.
Well, just say that like Goku, we would normally save the day, is not on Earth at the time when things are going down, and so yeah, we have to leave it to Gohan and Piccolo and others that might be around.
Speaking of Gohan, real quick, because I'm just thinking of great moments in Dragon Ball history. When after he gets the full potential, as much as I hated that he just had to sit there and just, okay, can unlock your full potential now.
Yeah.
Didn't like that part, but the confidence, and then throughout the entire show, there's really not that much talk of discussing of like physically killing the other person. It's just like, I need to defeat you. It's been almost always like, we need to defend Earth from Vegeta. It was never, oh, I need to go murder Nappa, stuff like that. But then it's like, hey there, tough shot. You want to fight Boo? He's like, fight you? I don't want to fight you. I want to kill you. And then it was just like, just the way they had the model, like how they were puffing out their chests as they walk up to each other. Mm-hmm. And then find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
You're like, fuck, he gets turned into candy.
Every single time you hear the music and then you hear the guy, what will Gohan do? And you're just like, God damn it.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
That is the one thing I think I talked to John about this, that I am happy that I'm watching it on Crunchyroll, because of the cadence of these episodes where you watch like 20 minutes of an episode, and I'm like, mother, you fucking stood there. You did nothing for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, I had been home to watch this and been like, he's gonna get into a fight today, and then been like, God damn it!
Oh,
It's
dude.
just 20 minutes.
It was the fucking worst. It was the worst. Like, for all the complaining I do about pacing and the stuff that we've watched recently, it's the
doesn't even
worst
compare.
example.
Yeah,
No.
It is. It's so bad.
it was the worst. But I feel like as a kid, the tension like build up and payoff. I felt the payoff was okay or like excellent. I always thought like, okay, I sustained that so we could get to this, and I always thought they delivered, especially with every big boss fight. I was never displeased with the ending.
The only
I
one that I
think
wasn't
the-
happy with was King Cool. When Trunks just dismantled King Cool and Frieza, Robot Frieza, and he just like, and I was like, no.
See, that's the readjustment of the power levels, though.
Yep.
That's the realignment there. And to me, that's like, oh, damn, here's this guy, from the future. Look at who, everybody's terrified of these guys. And he's just like this, snap of the fingers.
Yeah.
So, new goal now. If he's terrified of what's coming, how bad is it? That's really fucking bad. So,
Very true. It did set a stage. It's just that like King Cold I always wondered, you know what I mean? Like King Cold was like Frieza's dad. Frieza was obviously supposed to be more powerful than him, but like Frieza's dad, like that's fucking badass. Yeah. And then he just gets wiped, and I'm like, years of wanting to see this, and he's just I actually no, I think he got stabbed straight through the gut. And then Frieza got diced up because, he rebuilt himself. Like, fuck.
Yep.
So you're right.
Well,
I mean, it had its purpose.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I didn't know there was a King Cold fan out there, like big,
His brother Cooler, that's GT, and that is one of the best reasons to watch GT.
Okay.
I think
there's
that's
a
a
movie
movie.
too, and I have Yeah.
Yeah, but the movie I think is set in the GT timeline. I could be wrong because it's not canon. Cooler isn't canon.
Okay. Can't GT still be canon?
No.
Like, has anything broke that?
Yes. You don't want it to be canon.
Yeah.
This can be something
The
that
Super
lives in
Saiyan
the future
4
Trunks
as a whole.
timeline that doesn't matter.
It
Yeah.
can't be in the future Trunks timeline. Because
I'm just saying
Could be an
it's
alternate.
just put in an alternate thing that doesn't matter.
Yeah, Super Saiyan 4, like they specifically talked about whether or not Super Saiyan God is an elevation above Super Saiyan 4. And it's not necessarily an elevation above, it's a rethinking of what Super Saiyan 4 really should have been. Right? So I don't think Toriyama liked it, although I think the character design is super cool, but it's way more animalistic than what he wanted to go to. And now Gohan has something called Gohan Beast. And Toriyama even said there that like the original design for Gohan Beast was much more fierce and frightening and, animalistic. And he felt that it wasn't Gohan enough. So he toned it back. So there's definitely like those comments, that thought and that style and the whole path of God is what says that GT is never going to be canon.
Sure. Okay.
And that's
So
okay.
is
What's
GT
everybody's-
like take place? Like, do you use that after Dragon Ball Z, or do you just go Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball Super?
So
Well,
GT actually introduced Oob. So Oob is the reincarnation of Boo. And like that's GT ends with that, or
Starts with that.
starts with that, right?
And the whole premise is that Goku, somebody used the Dragon Ball wishes to make him, they tried to get rid of him or something and ended up making him younger, like the Dragon Ball version of himself. And I think that's the part I hated the most was that, oh wait, now he's just a young kid again. And now that's
Goku
the
is?
story. Goku is, yeah. So it's him, Future Trunks, and Pan off on an adventure with nobody else for the majority of the series.
I hated the humanoid Shenron. I hate that concept.
I think
Yeah.
there was a new Dragon Ball set, like movie or something, set to come out that looks like it has Kid Goku in it again.
I
There
really
was like
hope
a
not.
poster released for it a while ago and stuff like that. You guys didn't see that?
So
I didn't see
yeah,
it.
because all I'm doing is I'm basically just been like, yeah, just watch through the Dragon Ball Z, like all 400 episodes.
It's so GT is still. I mean, there's aspects to it that are fun and cool. Like I said, I mean, I think Super Saiyan 4 is just probably the most badass design. I really wish God would have gone that direction instead of just recoloring the hair, frankly. Like, I think that's super cool, but that's, to me, it's only redeeming quality. And even that's kind of a bit of a controversial thing. The story's not really good. So
this year, for anyone watching, this is a thing coming this fall. I'm going to get struck with it or what, but won't play the sound for it. So we don't know what's going on, but it looks like, unless that's Goten,
no,
nope. It's Kid Goku.
Goku had the staff. Goten never did.
Plus,
Interesting.
he's eating a ton. I feel like that's a Goku staple.
Yeah. It looks really cool.
Yeah. So it's coming this fall.
Interesting.
Son Goku.
I'd rather they just keep doing
He's
Dragon
always
Ball
fun.
Super stuff. But
Well, they are. There's manga for it. It's on hiatus now. Chapter 103 is on. They said it's on indefinite hiatus, but it's, they're going to continue it. They're mourning right now. Like, the manga is actually fucking wild. So all the stuff that has happened after the Tournament of Power and after the Broly movie, effectively, and incorporating the newest movie, it's cool. Like, I'm really excited for them to animate this, because I haven't read through the latest part of it. I read through the one that immediately followed Super, and it's an ancient evil guy that he's like Galactus. He consumes worlds for their energy, and it's just a cool arc.
But how do you get bigger than, like, destroyer gods and the little kid? It's like, how do you go above, like, the king of the universe?
So he's not the king of the universe. He's actually the thing that he's a thing that the Kais trapped millions of years ago or whatever, right? They couldn't defeat him. They couldn't kill him. They had to trap him. And you'll just have to see it.
Okay.
Hopefully it's a cool way to do it. And then the following one after that is the Granola arc. And that guy ends up using the Dragon Balls to wish to be the most powerful warrior in the universe. But that wish persists. So as soon as somebody gets stronger, he elevates as well, becomes the strongest warrior in the universe. So that's pretty interesting. So the first guy, it's cool because Goku and Vegeta, they can't use energy, their ki attacks against him, because he absorbs that, right? So they have to find a way to beat him without that. And, they've just gone through Super, so they've just gotten this huge, massive power up, but it's all still based on God Ki, right? And so it's all these energy attacks that are only powering them up. So that's a pretty cool a way to spin it and see them have to struggle in a different way than they haven't had to before. And now you end up going into the Granola arc, and now you're fighting against somebody who, it doesn't matter how many, what do they call them? Zenki boosts they get for nearly dying, right? The Saiyan races thing. So it's pretty sick.
Yeah, so maybe, because you'd mentioned before that you think kind of after Cell Saga, Toriyama sort of like lost the heart for it. Do you think he maybe got it back to some point? He sort of got himself back into it? Because Because I'd always heard that he wanted to be done a long time ago. But it's like, well, I don't know how the rights go here. It seemed like they were going to keep going without him. And so it's like, well, it kind of became one of the Hobbit trilogy sort of thing with Peter Jackson. It's like, well, we're going to do these things whether you want to do them or not. So you do want to be involved or not.
Right.
So yeah.
There might
bad that's the case, but
there probably is some truth to that. But I feel like I think he got his mojo back. Certainly. Super went through a little bit of a rough patch, I think. It was neat at first. I didn't really care for the Goku Black storyline. I thought that was silly.
Yeah, that made no like I like the concept of the Kai going rogue.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Doing the whole transfer body, Captain Ginyu, like, hey, we've already done that, so
right.
We don't need
a frog. I get that reference.
There you go.
I understand that reference.
Yeah. So what JP's referring to is the Kais. One of them, the Kais are their balance, right? So there's gods of destruction, and then there's the Kais on the other side of it. I think is how it levels out, right? And so the Kais are supposed to be,
Oh crap! Did he?
Oh.
Laser beams
go about.
Laser.
Oh, did I get lost?
Yeah,
dude, you froze like this.
Anyways, yeah, it was weird. It was weird to do the Goku Black thing, and then just watch him be a better version.
I think they did. As it went on, I felt like they found their tone balance between Z and Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like what he wanted to make was Dragon Ball. Like you said, the comedic take, the fun, the kind of meaningless stuff a lot, but just like silly. And then Dragon Ball Z that like really captured, certain people's imaginations with like, it was more hardcore, it was more violent. It was more dramatic. The lives were on the line, all that sort of thing. Melodramatic, one could say at times, all that sort of thing. And, but if you eventually get tired of that, Super sort of really incorporated humor effectively again, I think. So it maintained often a lighthearted sort of feel, but we still got the important battles and the, high stakes.
Couldn't agree more. Beerus is a great comedic relief, whilst also being
a threat.
A great threat, yeah.
Yep.
So I think I don't know what we are for timing here, John, but I think the biggest question that needs to be answered in this episode is who here had the Dragon Ball Z bowling shirts that apparently everyone decided that those would be cool to have because it was, what do you want? I want Goku in Saiyan form on a bowl shirt. I saw those all over the place in strip malls when I was in high school.
I thought I liked dragons when I was younger. And my mom, or, your grandma, what are they going to buy you for every fucking birthday until you're dead is fucking dragon shirts. And I got the shirt. And I was like, oh, sweet. Maybe I'll wear that to school. And then, of course, the one fucking weird, nerdy kid was rocking that exact dragon shirt that went right down the arm. I was like, well, looks like I'm never fucking wearing that shirt. Stuff that at the very bottom. We'll just let that rotate and never wear it.
Oh, my God.
Turns out I am not that guy. I don't even think I'd wear that shirt today. It was that bad.
There's I was going to say down here in Mississippi, it's really funny because there's a back road that I take to when I pick Bailey up from daycare. There's this just janky convenience store that's like off the side of the road, and it's like it's something like Saiyan Goods or something like that, and it's like somebody paid a high schooler to come and like spray paint knockoff brand Dragon Ball Z characters on the front of the store. And it's just ridiculous because I saw this dude like walking down the street one day, and he had like the like hoodie that was too long, but on the back was just like an anime powered up Goku, and I'm like, motherfuckers walking around in this janky neighborhood with this like anime shirt on.
That's awesome. Oh man, yeah.
Also, stores like Box Lunch didn't exist 20 years ago either.
No, I mean, you kind of, for early, you got the Hot Topic. That was what you got. But before that,
was
you know,
for
you
weird
had to
kids.
see what you could get at FYE or something like that. You know,
But yeah, I've collected probably, what am I at now? 50, 60 little of the WCF, the little items that come out of like claw machines in Japan, right? They made them, Bandai specific ones. They don't make them for Dragon Ball anymore. They stopped after Ultra, like the Ultra Instinct Goku kind of era, and now they've moved on to Demon Slayer and stuff. But I've got a huge collection of all those little guys. Like collecting that kind of stuff, you know, that would have always been under wraps for me. And now when I had a desk, right, at work, they littered my desk. Like for everybody to walk by and see and be like, look at this guy.
yeah.
And be like, yep, you see that one right there? That's Shenron. It's like 6 inches tall. That's awesome, isn't it?
Weeboo! Weeboo! Weeboo!
Yeah, no, that you should have brought a couple to show a few. I was thinking about that. I should have brought.
I'll stop my camera. I've got them.
Nice. You mentioned the. Well, we took it back for that, but the what's Tony? So you're not all the way through. What's your favorite saga so far? What's your favorite?
I'm only on the Frieza saga, which is like the second saga. So it's
I suppose. So we got between.
the
Well, you watch Dragon. So yeah, so you can count Dragon Ball if you want, and then in Z, the first Saiyan stuff with Raditz and Vegeta, or then now Frieza. But I guess if you're not done with Frieza, yeah, it's hard for you to.
No, I'm
pick.
not done with Frieza. No, and it's
How about you,
it's funny.
JP?
Like there's just a lot of episodes of just exposition or them being like, "Oh, we're gonna defeat him next time on Dragon Ball Z." I'm like, "Oh, god damn it!"
Yeah, I mean, that really didn't bother me much as a kid. I guess it didn't. Like
As a
looking
kid,
back,
it
I don't think. Yeah,
It never bothered me until people started talking about like the explaining of abilities and stuff. Didn't bother me until it's like, oh, it was the glass breaking for me. But
yeah, it's.
the Cell Saga was 100% my favorite one out of all the Dragon Ball Z. Just because the Gohan unrealized teen potential. Oh, dude, that's sweet.
So that's 16. Then we got Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
Oh yeah.
Right, with Cell. Yeah.
All right.
Got all the forms of Frieza. And then here.
Ooh.
Dog, that's dope.
Nice.
It's got these actually have like the little Dragon Ball numbers on them too. So
That's cool.
pretty sick. And he's
So
like
how many
for
forms of-
scale. He's huge.
Right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So how many
How many
forms of Frieza are there?
So
Spoilers, right?
there's a lot there. So you've got the first 3 that you're talking about earlier, and then his final form from the Namek saga. And then I've got one where it's like Robo Frieza, where he's like pieced together. You haven't seen that part, Tony. So like after the Namek saga, Goku leaves him alive because he can breathe in space. Frieza can. And King Cold essentially grabs him, and they like piece him back together. And then in the Android saga, Trunks comes in from the future and just dices him up. So I've got a figure of him in that form, and then he's got gold form. That's from Super. So his whole thing is that like Frieza never trained a day in his life, and he was still that ridiculously powerful. So then he spent like 6 months training or something like that, or 4 months training, and he acquires this gold form, and that's on par with Super Saiyan God Super, which is just crazy. So he's got his gold form, and now he's got a black form, which is just bananas. So
That's not in the. That's only in the manga, not
Right.
in. The one thing I really don't like about Super, now that I think about it, unless Frieza is just so much more popular than Cell, which is what I'm guessing is the case, I thought it would have made more sense to have Cell brought back for the Tournament of Power, or be like the main. If they're going to bring back one of the former bad guys,
yeah.
why not bring back Cell that has the powers of the Saiyans and everybody else?
So
But-
the idea with that was that Cell was effectively maxed out. He was not going to get better because he doesn't have the Zenkai boost or whatever. He had what he had. Whereas Frieza, they could theoretically write in better. I mean, it's bullshit. You could always write Cell to find a way to
Yeah.
improve, but he was only supposed to be as good as the combination of all the pieces. He couldn't grow more powerful than that.
I thought he could. Okay, then I retract that, and I wish they would have kept the Majin Buu in shape instead
Right?
of just bringing.
Oh.
Dude, that looked so sweet. I was like,
Kid Buu is
yes.
scary.
Yes.
yeah, but he was like skinny because he's like, I'm
Yeah.
working hard.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Nah,
me!
he was
And then
tired.
he goes into a sleep. It's like, that was lazy. That was lazy, Toriyama.
Yeah. I mean, because I think they even wrote the rules that Boo wouldn't have been able to use like his candy powers, his ability.
We can't kill anybody, so can't.
That doesn't kill him though.
Too many. I guess there was no other OP powers that people were throwing around in there. I guess, but
I
hey,
think, yeah,
whatever.
I don't know. I think you're right, JP, because like I would have liked to see somebody else other than Frieza too, but I think they were trying to capture that Namek magic, that Namek magic again.
I'll be the first to admit that
Namek Mega. I kind of want that as a shirt or something like that.
Make
Make Mel
Namek
in a
great
red
again.
hat.
Make Namek great again.
That'd be so good.
Namek Mega. So,
Probably can make an AI do that. That image.
Oh man.
Hercule could be the president, dude. That would be freaking.
no, make Frieza the president in that one. Kill all the Namekians. We're gonna get the balls. We're gonna get the balls. We're gonna make Goku pay for them. Sorry.
That's good.
It took me way too long to figure out that Frieza was a dude. I thought Frieza was a dick for the
Yeah.
longest.
I
Valid.
didn't know either for quite a while. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you
I think it
realize
was-
his
I think it
tail's
was a
connected
mix.
to his dick, then you really start asking questions.
Oh, I
What?
did not know that.
Look where his tail
Because he gets
connects.
it
It's
cut
like right up,
off.
it's up like at his stomach.
Oh.
Does that mean that
It's true.
Mewtwo's tail is Mewtwo's
Same thing.
dick?
Mostly.
They're the same species. The more you know.
So, what do you guys think of the? Speaking of that, like, because I think part of that is the voice acting, and I've
Mhm,
met
it
the
was.
guy that's like does Frieza's voice and some of that, but like, I love the English voice cast. I think they do a phenomenal job. And
Yeah.
the woman that does Goku's voice and stuff is kind of legendary and everything, but I can't stand that. Like, I'm not about that. I grew up with the English voice cast, and I think they are great.
Mhm.
I will say it's one of the few, like, for some reason, I don't know why in the normal Japanese, it makes everybody sound, everyone is feminine. The screams are worse. Nothing makes sense to me. And it didn't bother me as much in other animes, but after listening to the English with all the deep speaking voices, like you can immediately recognize an English cast who's Vegeta in other animes. Like, he has such a distinct voice that it makes it hard to go do the different Hi, Giselle. You know, it's like everybody has that high pitched. There is no low voices for anybody, and I felt like it blended way too hard together. Like trying to listen
Sure.
to Super, and it really turned me off for a minute until the English caught up with it.
The amount of spoofs I've seen of Dragon. That's another thing. It's just the amount of spoofs of Dragon Ball Z there are of like on YouTube who've like reanimated episodes and like redubbed them with their own voices, but it's just hysterical.
Mhm.
Oh shit, motherfucker! Look at that motherfucker Cell. He's coming at me. Damn! Oh shit! What the fuck is that? Oh,
I
ah!
haven't
Thank
seen
you.
any of those.
Oh my God,
You
gotta-
haven't.
There's an
It's,
amazing
That's a
one.
great one.
There's an
What are
amazing
they
one
called?
with Tien and Cell when he is using the
Oh,
tri-beam,
man. Okay.
and it's Cell like, "Oh man, what the fuck you gonna do? Oh fuck! Oh!"
Abridged? Is that what they call them?
My favorite is when they keep. There's one that the guy did where every time they reference Kakarot, they just keep making the name longer. So he's like, "What are you gonna do, Cabbage Cat?" And he just keeps getting progressively more obscure.
Oh, that's amazing.
He's coming at me. What are you, Cabbage Fat? It's just,
TFS, Team 4-Star. That's the guys that do it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
You have to send you have to
abridged?
text a few of them.
Dude, I can't.
Let's hear everybody's favorite character if you got one. Character that really stood out to you. Now versus when you first saw it as a kid. If it's changed.
Piccolo and Piccolo.
Okay.
Teen Gohan, when I was a kid, that was always my favorite. And I think after watching Super, Hit was my favorite character.
Hit
Kinda
was
gives-
cool.
Gives the original Piccolo vibes, like bad guy Piccolo, almost. And made me like him a lot.
Okay.
I
Hit's
wanted
a
more
solid
episodes of
choice.
him.
Tony?
I would say, because no, I'm not too far into it. I would say like, I kind of like. Why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? Hangs out with Gohan,
Trunks,
Piccolo.
bald dude,
bald dude,
little bald
Oh.
guy.
Krillin.
Krillin? Oh,
Krillin. I think Krillin's pretty cool. I like Krillin. He seemed funny. Although I'll tell you
Okay.
one thing, I hate Bulma. I can't stand that
Aw.
character.
I hate Chi-Chi. I can't stand Chi-Chi.
I think
Chi-Chi's
Chi-Chi is hilarious after watching. If you watch all of Dragon Ball, where she's like,
well, she's silly as a little girl, but
Mhm.
that's kind
I
of
thought it was hilarious how they got married. Was just like, if any man could defeat me, I would marry them. Don't you remember saying that to me? Like something that Goku said to her is like, if we fight and I win, let's get married. And then she's like, do you remember that? He's like, no. So, I'm supposed to marry you. And then she could temper tantrum. Oh, hilarious.
I like the Namek saga. All Bulma did, like literally the only thing she does is sit in a cave and bitch. Like the entire arc is just her bitching.
Mm-hmm. That is
Yeah.
her character.
it's not. I like her a lot in Dragon Ball. I like the adventures they have together and the role she serves in there and stuff. And like showing Gohan or Goku the ropes and stuff like that. Like he's so unaware of social norms and all this stuff. I like
Mhm.
that sort of thing. So
Works in Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball Z, she's ew.
I think growing up, I always really liked Gohan. Just obviously there was a cool element to that. Just the idea, like you were talking, Mike, about how you could just through being angry
Mhm.
could achieve something greater than you thought before, reach a new power level. And I thought that was cool and scary and unpredictable and some of that. As an adult more now, I really like Piccolo and I really like Vegeta. I always wanted them to get, I don't know. I wanted Vegeta to be the most powerful for a while. For once, I always wanted Piccolo to let him power him up so he could stand, because all his moments are too short lived. But he's still an awesome character.
Which Vegetas are too short lived, or Piccolo's?
Piccolo.
Yeah.
Vegeta basically, almost never. Like, I don't know.
Piccolo, you have to accept that he is successful vicariously through Gohan. Like, that's just his thing. He is the mentor role. So Gohan's victories are Piccolo's. That's how I've come to it, because you're right. As soon as he gets a power level update, it's still vastly outrun by everybody else within 2-3 episodes. And it's probably always going to be the case. Like, he's gone through 3 or so power-ups between getting combined with the other Namekians and then, recently too. Like, his thing's always been his tactical mind. He comes up with the solution that Goku's too stupid to see in front of him.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I did like that in Tournament of Power that they brought other Namekians from other universes, solidifying that like they can get stronger and can be recognized as that top level too. So it didn't. They were able to kind of explain a lot of the power creep for some of the characters, which was nice.
Sure.
God, Piccolo's dope. I totally forgot that he could extend his arms.
Yeah.
Just total like throwback, like Skip Z, go all the way back to regular Dragon Ball.
And just lose an appendage. Go back.
That's where Cell got his regeneration capabilities. Was from Piccolo.
Right.
Okay. Can we talk about just one more? Your all-time favorite moments?
Yeah.
Was Goku's instant Kamehameha, where you think he's going to just destroy the Earth, and he's up in the sky.
Yes.
There was a Dragon Ball Z game that I used to play that had that move on it. It was just on repeat. Use that, but just and then OP.
Yep.
And then the slow motion like realization of how just tiny he was, and that was like one of the first times you actually saw somebody like get torn in half too. Yeah. I don't remember too many times we're just like, oh, holy shit, he just Kamehameha half his body away, and oh man.
That was awesome, because he'd never seen instant transmission used in any sort of combination. That's so cool.
So seeing that there and then him using it again against Beerus, I thought was freaking. It was a super sweet tactical move too, just being able to do.
Yeah,
nice.
What a super underrated move, super OP, makes no sense, but awesome.
Let's see. There's one more thing. Oh yeah, one more thing, and then if there's any other kind of final thoughts or something, I just want to see if anyone has a movie that stands out, DBZ movie that you really is your favorite.
I would say honestly, if you're a Gohan fan or a Piccolo fan, watch Superhero. It does evoke some of that Cell Saga feeling to it, which is pretty cool. And then, honestly, I didn't watch a lot of the older movies. I didn't watch I have now, but originally I didn't watch like the Broly movie, the non-canon Broly movie. But the Dragon Ball Super movies, just as a whole, are my favorite. Broly was actually pretty cool. That's the best display of animation and graphics and combination that I've seen in Dragon Ball. And it was just combat porn. It was cool.
Sure. Yeah.
I've seen one movie. Sorry, John.
Which one's the one you've seen?
I saw one DBZ movie before I even knew what DBZ was, and that was probably back when I was like 11. And I don't remember much about it except it had a giant tree. It was like a giant world tree or something like that.
Yeah, Tree of Might.
And they had to
that was good.
prevent it from being broken down or something like that. I can't remember.
I totally thought the Garlic Jr. saga was a movie. But I guess that was just like a saga where Goku and them just weren't there.
Hmm.
Was it actually just
Oh.
episodes?
Yeah,
It
that
felt
is
like
just
it.
episodes. I think. Yeah, I know.
I
what you're
totally
talking about.
remember it as a movie because I don't know why, but
Yeah, Garlic Jr. comes back and doesn't Trunks have to fuse with Goten, and like that's kind of they're battling up on Kami's place and stuff. Am I thinking the right thing?
This is Teen Gohan. Like this is like early DBZ.
Goten
Garlic
and
Jr.
Goten and Trunks do that for the Buu saga. That's where they get
Yeah.
like the fat guy, you know, and
Mhm.
that's supposed to be the comedy. And that
This
always
is
fell
like
flat.
early DBZ. It was just like a one-off saga that I don't know why they did it, but I thought it was always a movie. But it's like Piccolo and Gohan and like Krillin, Tien. Like a lot of the side characters have their own little mini segment.
Sure.
Someone's kid crying.
Yeah, mine.
I think that's
also,
yours.
Oh, I was like, God dang it.
Yeah, I always liked Dead Zone.
I never watched
Dead
that.
Zone. That one I thought was really good with the like kind of animation with the hand-to-hand combat. It's not a lot of energy attacks and stuff like that. Big fan of that one. So that's like not Garlic Jr. I think it's like the Garlic Senior or something. I think.
It is Garlic Jr. because I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, it is Junior. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I always like that one.
But everybody's like spice, vinegar, and whatever.
Yeah.
That's all the names. It's just a bunch of spices.
Yeah.
They don't ditch that. I like that naming convention. Like now you've got granola and stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, anything else we haven't talked about Dragon Ball wise that must be said?
Must be said that it's way too easy to achieve Super Saiyan now, and that was the thing I hated the most about Tournament of Power. Even though I liked that arc overall, I hated the different universe Saiyans and how they're just like, it's a tingle in your back. Boom. No, dude. That's supposed to be unlocked by a level of rage that is so legendary, so uncommonly seen that it doesn't make sense. And you can talk it away for like Goten and Trunks because they're like the kids of it. But these other ones, and they're just like, it's a tingle. Bam, Super Saiyan. That was stupid. I hated it. It should never happen. That's it.
Only counterpoint to that, Mike, is that the same planet didn't get destroyed in that other universe, did it?
No.
It didn't. So, like, there is a movie where Goku's dad does go Super Saiyan, right? But he ends up dying or something like that. Is that true?
Bardock.
Yeah. Does Bardock actually go?
But I don't think he goes Super Saiyan.
I don't
He
either.
doesn't go.
No, but he was legendary just for being a regular working class type of warrior, and then like
He stood up.
yeah,
Something
he
that
was
was super strong.
yeah.
So I will say, since they probably had generations where, since it's the stronger you are, the power levels transfer or whatever. They kind of explain that with Goten and Trunks with how easily they are able to transform. If you don't murder an entire planet and your species just probably continues to be strong as they're like the universe police, then I could see how that could be explained. It wasn't explained, but I could find reasoning in that. If you don't murder an entire planet, that you could find, he's the strongest of their race probably. So it would make sense that he could probably do it.
That's a good point.
I mean, I agree that it can make sense, but I still don't agree that it's the right choice.
Yeah, for 5 minutes during a fight to be able to. Hey,
even
just
if how much
up.
more does that make it impressive if you do have a universe where the planet's never destroyed and it's still uncommon and still rare? That to me keeps it cool and special versus watering it down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like it was, time coming that we talk about Dragon Ball for a while. It comes up in references a lot and stuff like that in other episodes, but never just really talk about it. And it's a touchstone for us and a lot of people our age, for sure. I mean, I watch the UFC. A lot of people have tattoos of Shenron or Goku or someone, you know, and it's like kind of a really big for our age group. And but like Phil hasn't really seen Dragon Ball and some of that, so it doesn't work so well to talk about with him. So is Dragon Ball a thing you would recommend to, like, you know, it's like Phil got into watching anime not that long ago. Would you say go watch Dragon Ball, or is it no?
No, one, because I don't think it's up Phil's alley. From the other stuff that he's told us that he likes, I don't think that it would particularly interest him. But like, even if it wasn't Phil, if it was just somebody new, there's too much to catch up on, in my opinion, to make it worth it. And it's like we talked about earlier. It's not a good enough show to make up for it, you know, for the amount that you'd have to play to watch. I mean, some of it's exciting, some of it's fun, but if you want really good combat, I would look elsewhere. If you want a really good character story, I would look elsewhere. You know, I think that there's too much tie to nostalgia. Maybe that could change. Maybe if you just started with Super, like if you started with Super right into the Goku Black saga, like none of that's going to make any sense to you. You're not going to give a shit. Why does this thing want to be Goku? Why is Goku so great? Because that leans really heavily on your understanding of the Saiyan race and why they're so powerful. Why does this god all pissed off? Doesn't resonate. But if you start at the Tournament of Power, that might be a good place to go, because that's just an exciting time. You're not going to get the hair to stand up on the back of your neck when Frieza and Goku are dive bombing. Oh my God, the main bad guy that I can't believe I can't remember his name right now. But like, you're not going to get excited about that because you don't understand the conflict, right, you know, between those two and what it means. And then you're not going to understand the payoff of Android 17 being the hero. Like, you don't get why that's important, you know? So, but it's cool to watch. It's cool to look at. And if you want your brain to melt away, that's kind of neat too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I will go up with what Mike was saying, because I am starting it, because like I said, I've seen plenty of episodes sprinkled throughout every single saga. I've never seen it end to end, so I've never really gotten that impact that you were talking about, Mike. So I am starting it from Dragon Ball Z on Crunchyroll, from episode 1, and I'm up like 90 episodes in, 70 some episodes in. If you want to do that, prepare for a slog, because yes, there are some episodes. There's like 3-4 episodes in a row that are just like, nothing happens, and you got to, you know. And there's compendiums online. Like you could probably go on YouTube and find a compendium of a 2-hour video that just basically sums up the entire like first 3 sagas.
And I would argue that if you have to do that, it's not a good show.
Well, I will say, because, you know, like you're talking, so like a lot of this stuff relies on nostalgia and some of that, you know, but if it's one of those things, like if you give it to the kid at the right age and they are able to get into it and attach themselves, they like find those key moments and find the characters that they really connect with, and then it just kind of grows with them, and they have the patience to reach those moments, those high moments that we talk about. And then it sticks with you. On the other hand, Ashley hasn't seen much of any of this, but we started Dragon Ball quite some time ago, and we just slowly go through it, put on an episode, a few episodes at a time, whatever when we want, and she enjoys the heck out of that. She just thinks, you know, has a lot of fun watching that show, because it is fun. And she liked Dragon Ball Super when we were because I was watching Dragon Ball Super. Okay. She's like, oh, watch some of this too, or whatever. And she was enjoying that because it did incorporate the humor elements. And there is less time given to like 15-minute power-ups and stuff like that. Time is generally spent more reasonably. So
they have paced it better.
Yeah, she wants to keep going, and like we'll go through Dragon Ball and then keep going through Dragon Ball Z, and we'll see how it goes. This will be a lifetime pursuit here. We'll just keep going, but you know, I don't know. That's something interesting. Maybe you just started Dragon Ball, and if you get attached enough to some of those characters, maybe you're in for it, the ride through Z. You know? Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it's working, and that's awesome that it's working for you, that you're enjoying it. But I come back to like trying to put my finger on why I like it so much and why I'm so invested in it. Right? It's like people who love the Fast and the Furious movies, right? At a certain point, they're not what they started off as. And you're just watching because you're like, Jesus Christ, there's an 11th. I got to see this shit show. But you don't actually care. You know it's not good. It's not a good movie. It's not good cinema. You're watching a train wreck because you want to see the limbs flying off. Like, that's what you're watching, right?
But then the first superhero comes out and you're like, this is great. I don't know what you're talking about. This is, you know, like it's...
Well, I mean, I would still argue Tournament of Power does that well enough. But yes, it's gotten better and it's learned that pacing thing. But, you know, part of that is I slogged through it on a weekly basis as a kid. There wasn't as many options, right? And the payoff was significantly better because I, week after week, waited for something cool to happen, for that spirit bomb to drop, and then it finally did, and that's awesome. But looking back on it, if I were to sit down and try and spend my time today, and you told me I was going to sit through 60 minutes of television and not shit was going to happen, I'd be like, I'm not doing this. Not watching that.
I think there's a time and place for animes like this in your life. Some people like the fluff, others don't. And I think we're getting slightly spoiled with how good some of the animes that are coming out now, where that's just not, you can't really, I mean, you can get away with it in some, but a lot of the time people just want to get straight to the action. And I think there's a nice balance there. And I think Demon Slayer has been really spoiling, like that Jujutsu Kaisen really spoil us with, there's a lot going on all the time. There's, you know, we can have 2-hour discussions about each episode. We couldn't do that. Could you imagine doing a weekly show of Dragon Ball Z?
No.
Well, did you see anything when he was charging up there? Well, the grass changed colors, so we might see something different. Like I couldn't imagine.
The rock started to move.
Yeah, no shot, right? But I think it was meant for a younger audience, and totally captivated me. It turned me into a lifelong fan from the first time I saw it. So. And that's okay. And I think Super's kind of adjusted a little bit. It's still fluff, but I thought it was a lot less than I remembered. Definitely.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, right? We got into this thing when we were teenagers. Dragon Ball proper might fit better for an adult because you'll understand the humor and not be, you know, you'll be able to look past some of the weird parts because you'll get what he's going for as an adult. Dragon Ball Z really hits that in your 14-year-old man or 13 or 12-year-old, whatever. Like it pegs that. And I don't know as an adult if I could quite get on board. That's why Dragon Ball Z Kai is amazing, because it cuts out the bullshit for the adult so you can just watch the power trip. But if you're going to do that, Super's just better to start with. And you do have better options anyways beyond it. Like I love Dragon Ball Z for what it is, and I'm glad that I got to watch it when I did, but man, I don't know if I'd start with it now. Maybe Super.
Okay, raise your hand. Let me know who here has seen Yu Yu Hakusho. Not the live action thing. Tony, you have all the way through.
What's the live action thing? Is it called
I saw it all the way through.
Yeah,
long time ago.
Okay, I just think that Mike, you should give this a shot. If you're feeling like I could use some of that Dragon Ball fix, watch Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu
Okay.
Hakusho will do that.
It's good in English.
Yu Yu
It's
Hakusho.
got a little paranormal vibe to it. Yes, it is for that 13-year-old, 14-year-old. It is going for that audience. But I think that there is an emotional element to start, and then there is a pacing. It's only 4 seasons. It's 4 seasons and done. There's
Okay.
no more else. Now, supposedly they're going to bring it back. We don't need to pay attention to any of that stuff. Don't worry about that. But
Okay.
4 seasons, it's done. And just if, you get out of the garage and you're like, oh, that was a rough time there. Didn't get much accomplished or whatever. I need to watch something. Watch this 2 episodes before bed every night or something like that. Tell me what you think. I want to know. I think
It's
this
good.
is the best action anime there is that I've seen, because it doesn't go on forever. For one, it doesn't lead you on, do all these different characters and all the bad guys become good guys and it's concise, and the characters, they have an archetype, that for each that fits. I don't know. Music's
All
good.
right.
I
I'll check
just
it out.
Would be interested if you're in the
It's-
mood for that kind of thing.
It's phenomenal. I really, really like it.
It'll give you nostalgic vibes without having seen it before, because it comes from the 90s. It looks like it's from the 90s. It feels like it's from the 90s. It's just, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sweet.
So,
Oh, okay. Last thing. I know this is going really long.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that I think Super is doing really well and is making it cool. I like that they are creating paths. They're doing trees off of the power arc style, right? And they're doing it in a really cool way. So Vegeta going to this he's got Super Saiyan God form, but now he's got something else essentially. Where Goku went through Ultra Instinct, right? And has gone through that, because to me, that is supposed to be the embodiment of the perfected body of martial art, right? It is letting go of the mind, which Goku's been a blubbering idiot the entire show. That's the whole concept. He's a brilliant fighter, and that's the only thing he's brilliant in.
yeah.
But he's amazing at it. And so that is Ultra Instinct is the embodiment of that, right? And then Gohan now has this Goku or Gohan Beast form, which embodies that childhood latent rage, right? That's coming through. Man, what is Vegeta's called? I gotta look it up. Ultra Ego, which
Oh, wow.
dude, it's on the nose, but it's amazing. So his form, right? The more damage he takes, the more output he can provide back, right?
Wow.
So it's like Zenkai Boost, immediate in times 100.
Yeah, real time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a cool concept, and so you get to see these different way these are going to play out, and then you've got what's better, what's more powerful, Goku or Gohan Beast, or Goku Ultra Instinct, or Vegeta's Ultra Ego, which is the best one? So it's a new play to go on.
Yeah. I like it.
I didn't realize they were doing that. I like that. I also like that Gohan has whatever the full potential that he has,
Mm-hmm.
where he doesn't have to power up to a different level. He just has access to all of his power right away. I like how you explain the paths.
Yeah.
We lost your audio mic. Oh, there it is. There you are. Cut out for a second.
So if you like that, JP, take that. Yeah, because he had that Gohan Unlimited or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's that to an even greater degree. So it's that unleashed potential plus the rage that he had combined, and he can access it at will. It's badass.
Yeah, I might have to get into the manga. Can I read it for free, or do I have to pay money?
I found a place to read the
Shonen
Goro
Jump
arc
is like
for free.
$1 a month, guys.
Is it?
I don't support foreign companies.
What are you talking about? You support...
I use somebody else's Crunchyroll, so it doesn't get tied back to me. I don't even pay for my own subscription.
Shonen Jump, like I say, is like $1-ish a month, and you get access to the new chapters of all kinds of shonen type things. So if you want to read ahead in Chainsaw Man or whatever, there you have it.
We're gonna read all the
iPad.
manga. We're gonna make John pay for it.
I said, I'm not going to read that manga, but then I was like, okay, I could read that manga.
So if you don't want to read it, the moral arc, there's a guy that went through and read and basically reads it to you in real time and shows some of the panels and whatnot as well on YouTube. So that's one way to do it. I did find a website where I was able to go through and read it, but I guess I'll pay for it.
Yeah, come on, guys. This is like, want these places to stay in business. You know, in the late 90s and early 2000s, with a collapse in the anime industry, we're gonna have another collapse here at some point. But the best we can do is like try to keep these things around.
It's
What's it called?
really funny in like 4
Shonen
years when Shonen Jump switches platforms and you can't take any of your digital stuff you bought Shonen Jump with you, and John's gonna be like, you know what, this was all bullshit, let me tell you.
Don't look at it as buying anything. You're paying access to read the issues. That's it. Read chapter each week as a chapter comes out on anything that's only like a couple pages. You can read it. You know, that's how it.
I wonder if
that's how it goes.
LimeWire is still around.
Send me a link, because all I'm ending up right now with is shonenjump.com/J. Is that?
I'll see if I
where I'm
can
supposed to be?
download LimeWire off my Kazaa.
You do the
Kazaa.
like
K++.
open your you know, you have an iPad or even your phone if it's big enough. You use the app.
Okay.
Shonen Jump.
All right.
I will find it and send it to you. So
Cool.
okay. Dragon Ball. Akira Toriyama. Sad that he passed away. We'll see what the future holds for this franchise and many others. You know, Dragon Quest is huge in Japan. It's finally they get more games here and stuff like that, but he's designed characters for that, and it's very evident that he's designed the characters for that. And yeah, Dragon Quest is another massive thing. And Chrono Trigger, classic game. So like he's just had his hands in a lot of things. He's one of the big ones. Like it's you know, there aren't a lot of people that are, I won't say universal names, but like Hideo Miyazaki for Ghibli and you know, like when Walt Disney or whatever, like in this kind of art space, you know, Stan Lee, these names that are just really big, and definitely Akira Toriyama like stands with those kind of names. You know, whatever you end up thinking of the series and stuff, it's had a big impact on a lot of people in a lot of countries across a lot of different you know, cross sections of the population. So
Dragon Quest. Is Dragon Quest the game that Pokemon supposedly stole a bunch of designs from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Is
Not
it?
that I
Okay.
know of.
Oh, you might be-
but,
Yes, you are. That is the one. Yep.
I didn't realize Toriyama did those designs, but you can see those character styles in Dragon Ball.
oh yeah,
Wow. Okay.
he
Yep.
had a look. you
Yeah.
know? So
Huh.
all great artists do. So okay, well, I thank you all for joining me. I much appreciated to have this Dragon Ball talk here. And guys, let's keep me updated on what you're watching. Mike, let me know if you try Yu Yu Hakusho or anything else. And well, next week we'll cover the intended. Getting the shows a little like back and forth here because we're going to be talking about the fifth element on the regular podcast.
Nice.
Podcast on the Rocks. So it's our second Bruce Willis movie now. So we'll be covering that.
Oh God, that is
And
such
then
a good movie.
we'll be talking about Howl's Moving Castle on the next episode of this. So follow us here on Twitch, and you'll see every time we go live on stuff. And then make sure you follow us on all the socials, X, Facebook, YouTube, all those sorts of things. We're Ohayou Anime on YouTube, and you just see Popcast the Rocks and everything else. So again, Mike is looking to start his racing stuff, getting out on the track soon. So follow him, TrackMouse34 on YouTube, and just track_mouse on Instagram. And MJ Honeybee was in the chat just a little bit ago, or a while ago. Make sure you follow MJ Honeybee. She's on Twitch, does Dead by Daylight streams. Iceman Hart was in the chat, and I don't know if he streams at all or not, but give him the good vibes for winning his strongman competition over there in the UK. That's pretty awesome. Peter J. Gilbertson, he wrote a number of different short story collections that you can find on Amazon. Those are all good reads and quite affordable. They're usually like $1 or something again, so pick those up. And then JP is talking here about ScoopEats. We looked at that earlier, right at the beginning of the show. ScoopEats, one word on YouTube, and he's eating shit. He's eating lots of stuff. Eating challenges. So
if you like Beard Meats food, he's trying to emulate that. Just eating. He's doing whatever challenges he can find around here. I'm trying to convince him to go to the pho place and to get the extra large, the Pho King challenge.
Is he into anime?
Yes, he's a freak. So he has shows that he watches every day of the week for every new release. So he's very up to.
So if he's interested, he'll have to come on sometime, and he can talk about his things doing.
He'll do his own self promo. He was the one that got me into Bungo Stray Dogs.
Okay,
he loved that show. That was a good one for him. But he's also into what was the one where the guy has it's like a undead murder farce? That one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a lot of those goodies.
Nice. So you should share with him what I put on my personal X page, the anime elitist chart, and see if he's consumed all those shows or not.
I'm telling you, he's like halfway through One Piece, and he's watching Bleach and stuff like that. He's going through a lot of the old stuff back. Just because, because he's already watched all of, like the top, whatever the top stuff on Crunchyroll is. He plows through everything because he's an addict like the rest of us. So he can't just stop at one. He has to have it all.
Yep.
So he's just hammering through as much as he can of just cool shows.
Thanks.
He does watch Delicious in Dungeon too. I remember him talking about that. It's like, it's so wholesome.
It is wholesome.
All right.
It's amazing.
Anyone have anything else to add before we call it quits?
I just downloaded Shonen Jump.
All right.
Ooh, I'm going to go put on my whipping belt and go watch Halo 2, or the second season of Halo.
I don't know why you're
because I'm a masochist. I love it. I just
apparently
the reviews have said that if season 1 was awful, season 2 is only bad.
Accurate. 100% accurate.
I have to watch it.
It's ridiculous.
It's just bad.
In fact.
All right. Well, on that note, sorry for JP and his suffering he's about to endure. I hope the rest of you go and watch a good anime, and we'll see you all next time.